We just got some huge brand new Poppy Playtime news, including some brand new trailers and teasers, potentially teasing a brand new ARG, maybe, we don't know, a brand new Poppy Playtime game title presumably just dropped, and we're definitely going to go a little bit more into detail about that later on. Some brand new cut content and storyboards from chapter 3, which is really interesting. It shows a whole bunch of characters that were, supposed to swap places and also having totally different design, including a whole bunch of brand new merch. So without further ado, let's just go hop to the video and start off with the brand new trademarks. So we all know trademarks is, of course, a thing that we usually use to see new type of names and stuff like that. It's kind of happened last year within Chapter 4. Nothing crazy or big kind of happened like it did with Chapter 4. Half the trademarks are updating is really just the older characters like Picky Piggy and all the Smiling and Nightmare Critters. Updated them for, re-release and stuff like merch, video games, and of course other characters like Dr. Harley Sawyer for shirts and hoodies, just the casual merch stuff that you usually see them do, it's kind of what they do. If you want to see the trademarks, you just go look up Mob Entertainment trademarks and it's literally just public information. But the thing that's more interesting that everybody keeps on talking about is the brand new Poppy Play Park name. It is trademarked in a category being the downloadable computer software game, meaning that it is trademarked under a game, meaning this is going to be a game name. This, of course, had to spike up a whole bunch of different controversy with everybody is like, well, not really controversy, kind of just like theories and ideas like, yo, we're getting a brand new Poppy Playtime game. And I think that this is actually really valid because in my last video, we talked about the potential of a brand new 8-bit type game because we had a whole bunch of different information about that and also them hiring people to make a game like that. And now seeing this brand new trademark that came out, it definitely seems like they're working on a brand new game and this might be the name for that 8-bit game we talked about in the last news video. But sadly, I guess only time will really be able to tell if this really is that or if it's just a little spin-off game or if it's like a next cool game. But it definitely has to be that part that we saw the poster in chapter 3. Like, it took a while. I really thought it was going to be a future chapter, but, I really hope this game is definitely cool. Definitely go and subscribe and stay tuned because whenever we get more news on that game, we will be doing a video talking about it. We also got other trademarks like the prototype and just other ones. But the thing I think is really cool is that the Nightmare Critters also got new trademarks like Simon Smokes, for shirts and hoodies, but also plush toys and stuffed animals. Same thing with Miss Delight having, the hoodie, shirts, and all that other type of stuff just being the trademarks too. But also having plastic character toy figures, action figures being under the trademarks, showing that it's possible that we could finally be getting some brand new Miss Delight merch, and also Nightmare Critters might be actually getting more plushies and, actual plushies for the first time, with Bob Chops also having a trademark for plush toys, but, they usually just do this to be safe, so sadly don't get your hopes up that they are going to be making home some merch recently, but, they did release a trademark, so let's hope that they are planning to work on them. But moving on to the new trailers and, teasers and stuff like that, Mob Entertainment around more than a week ago-ish uploaded a brand new channel trailer, which just had Huggy there. The trailer was literally the most simplest thing you can ever think of, just being a trailer talking about Poppy Playtime and of course Mob Entertainment as the channel type thing. But at the end, they did have these like numbers and like words, which was very confusing. Like, why just put that at the end? But with YouTube's compression system, the words are almost unreadable, but we still do not know right now if this is important or not. But Mob Entertainment did go and release some brand new Easter sales. So like, letting you guys know that for a limited time, you get the spring bundle. You can get all the chapters for around 35% off for a limited time, releasing this brand new Huggy Wuggy render, which is like Bunny Wuggy. It's kind of like Bunzo and Huggy Wuggy mixed together with lots of people like, this would make a great Project Playtime skin. And that they could have just literally made this a Project Playtime skin and do the most simplest and smallest updates, which in my opinion, I do think they should have done that. It would have been a great move on them and it would have shown if people still cared about Project. But either way, it's a really cool render. I really do like it, and yeah, it's pretty lit. But one thing I think that's very interesting about this trailer is that in the beginning, before it even does anything like that or before it shows anything, they show this Play-Doh type thing. It's Play-Doh because you can see fingerprints and the textures, and it looks a lot like Doughy's, but it's different colors like green and pink. I just want to put this out there. Imagine if Chapter 5 has like a Miss Doughy, kind of like, Mommy Longlegs has Daddy Longlegs and Huggy Wuggy has Kissy Missy. Imagine if they actually made a girl version that was like canceled or like scrapped, and we see that in Chapter 5. Just putting it out there, that would be pretty crazy, but why use this as a background? Doughy's color fits like a lot, but I have no idea. If they are teasing something, it'll be pretty crazy. But they also released another trailer here because they just love doing that now. Being a Poppy Playtime trailer for chapters 1 through 4, showing how it's available on, Steam, console, all that kind of stuff. Well, chapter 4 isn't available on console, sadly, just yet. And also, definitely want to give a huge shout out to Spencer. He's the one that made the thumbnail for this video and also made the Curse the Bunny Huggy render, which just looks amazing. I still love it. But in this trailer, it's literally just a recap for the entire game. In one of the glitch scenes, as you guys can see, thanks to, Huggy Wuggy on Twitter, we see a glitch frame that just shows that image of Poppy that we saw in the other trailer, but kind of just, glitched out, which is like, okay, interesting. I don't think it's anything crazy new, but it definitely seems interesting. But one thing that Huggy Wuggy also did bring up was that the Chapter 4 ARG site has been taken down. And usually in, ARG history, they usually take down an ARG site before they add a new one, what they're kind of doing with also like FNAF Security Breach. They're doing that now with, Secrets of the Mimic. So maybe there could be a new ARG coming up for potentially this brand new game Play-Park, or potentially Chapter 5 just starting a little bit early. I do not think it's Chapter 5. I do think they're potentially getting ready for an ARG for something. It could just be an ARG to hype up a little teaser for Chapter 5 or Play-Park, whatever it is. I hope it's definitely going to be really cool. But of course, make sure to take this with a grain of salt since it isn't all confirmed. It's just literally speculation. But also one thing cool about the whole trailer is that this Twitter user is able to mention how you can see the prototype's hands around the back. And it's really cool. If you look at the thumbnail now, you can kind of see the prototype's hands, which I think is a neat detail. But moving on to some canceled art for Chapter 3, Scott Foster has some interesting art posted, with one of them just being an artwork for Ruined Huggy Wuggy, which looks really cool. I really love the way it looks. That's why I put it on the thumbnail. I'll show this one now. It's kind of like a cut for Chapter 3 showing Catnap or Monster Catnap just in the back, looking like some type of Scooby-Doo character that looks really funny. I find it really funny. Also some different images for the smiling critters and the design work. But then they also had an entire storyboard for Chapter 3 being over like 140 something pages long, showing a whole bunch of different images for literally the storyboards of Chapter 3. Sadly, at the time of recording this, the site is saying guest area and you have to enter a code to even see it. So maybe it got taken down because of the stuff, but I do know it's fine to talk about. They show some earlier versions of the smiling critters, which were originally going to be called the cuddly, colorful, or color critters, and also having different charms like Kicking Chickens and have a smiley face. Bubba Bubba Fint was just gonna have a little like raindrop, and it was just very interesting to see how this is all gonna look. You can even see Crafty Corn. The way they all look, the design was very interesting. You can even see the walkie-talkie had Mommy Longlegs' as his head instead. You can see images on the lab in the prison. We can see the statue of Elliot Ludwig for like the first time, seeing a whole face reveal, but don't take this as canon since it was just storyboards and it was never in the final game. We can see a little bit of the chase sequence and how that kind of looks like Doey's face, but I definitely want to say, but it's just meant to be like the souls, of course. We can see the whole other room with that had Nightmare Huggy in it that I totally forgot the original name for, being called the Happy Room, but still keeping the original premise of Nightmare Huggy Wuggy still there. But also got some images of the toy area, the toy store that was sadly cut. We can see some images that looks like the prototype reaching out, of course, with Catnap praying to the prototype, which just was known to be the original area of the shrine. So it's really cool to see images of that. And also you guys can see here with the prototype's hand reaching out, meaning we might have had an encounter with the prototype in Chapter 3, which is just crazy to think. For of course, more images showing the toy box, which is like a mini little toy store that just looks really cool. We also got some images of Miss Delight and how she originally looked. Also, you can see images of the play place having all the different Poppy Playtime Co toys instead of just having the smiling critters, which I found is really interesting. We can see some different images of the dream sequence here that also looks pretty cool. But beside that, there's nothing really there except for, of course, the last image of showing Catnap's death, showing a little like robotic arm there, which is like showing that Catnap was going to be like animatronic inside instead of just being organs and like bones, which is an interesting change that they made, but still pretty cool. But moving on to the merch side of things, thanks to the Japan pop-up store and also of course this Twitter user, we can actually see some brand new merch that they have, being just different type of keychains and different type of pins. Of course, all of the Chapter 4 characters, even little Nightmare Huggy or Ruined Huggy. And these pins look so good. I want them, but sadly they're exclusive to Japan, so like it sucks. But sadly the best way to get this, of course, is on eBay. But yeah, it's still pretty cool to see some brand new Japan merch here, with also some stickers and different things like that. With this Twitter user posting posting some more different type of stickers and like cheek chains that you're able to get. So that is, of course, pretty cool. I really do love the artwork in all of these with Huggy, the smiling critters, and even Mommy Longlegs. They all look just so good. But that's gonna be it for this video. You guys can let me know in the comments below what do you guys do think about this news video. What do you guys think about all the brand new trademarks and of course all the different content from chapter 3? You can also let me know, do you guys think an ARG is gonna be coming up soon? And do you think that this is gonna be like a brand new game coming out anytime soon, or are they just trademarking and protecting it for a future purpose after, chapter 5? You guys can let me know all that in the comments below, and please don't forget to go and subscribe and watch this new video here to stay up to date with other type of Pianosaurus merch, because like we all love our boy Pianosaurus.